Okay, so I'm going to go through some of the key trends for the life sciences industry. First of all, when we talk about life sciences, we have to refer to this regulatory construct that we've got compliance issues. So what's happening in the industry right now is that there's much more of a focus on, is this product safe? Is this product in compliance with the regulations that a company has set out for itself? And so this is one thing that's vital. Another is the quality standards. Because of this emphasis on compliance, those are very important as well. Quality has always been a major component of any medical device, any product. But when you talk about it and when you think of it in terms of patients, is this product going to be safe for patients' use? Is the physician going to be promoting higher quality of life? These are really important issues to consider, and I think as economies start to grow and become more mature, they can focus more on what the product does and whether it's safe for an individual to use. Now, one of the other trends in the industry has been budgetary. There's been a lot of focus on cutting budgets, making sure that we're not wasteful. And I think in the life sciences industry, you can't really say, well, we're going to cut quality, because that's not, you've got nothing if you have cut some quality. So you really have to look at where are we spending our money wisely, and especially when it comes to localization. You can look at products. Are they being sold in a certain market, and then focus your energy on localizing for that market. Whereas maybe in the past, a lot of companies would just say, we're going to localize into every language. Well, that's not really feasible these days. So we have to really be more mindful of that. Okay. Yeah. And one other thing that I wanted to mention is that this idea of creative forms of outsourcing. Now that could be different depending on what company you come from. In the life sciences industry, most businesses have outsourced their localization. So that part, the translation component, is not new for outsourcing. But what's new is project management outsourcing, quality assurance. Vendors are being asked to vet other vendors, to vet products, do a lot of functional and linguistic testing. And these are things that medical device companies used to do in-house to a much larger extent, and now with caps on headcount and real mindfulness of how much money we're spending on our own employees, we're looking to outsource more of these activities. This one? Okay. Yeah, for Latin America in particular, it's this shift away from thinking of Latin America as a place to manufacture, but not necessarily to sell. That's really changing. There's a growing consumer market, and I know in the case of St. Jude, we focus quite a bit of energy on sales and marketing for the larger markets, but also for developing markets and paying attention to these trends. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. I would like to share a couple of key trends within the localization branch. From my own experience, also from many talks that I have with people like you, I try to summarize them in a few points. First of all, increasing use of tools and processes. What I basically mean with that, it's what I've seen actually that at least with the RFPs where I have been working on is that you have a linguistic component and you have a technological component. There are a couple of other components as well, but I'm going to focus on these two. The linguistic component is something that clients are slowly taking for granted. You're supposed to have good translators. They're supposed to be qualified. Of course, you're using native speakers. So of course, they have 10 years of experience in medical translation. So if you don't have that, you can forget about it up front already. So, but now what becomes more and more important is how is your technological structure? What can you offer on tools? Do you use web services, etc., etc. So basically, the efficiency and efficacy efficiency of the process has become definitely more and more important. And certainly in RFPs, you have to be able to show something there. Well, centralization of translation memory, content management systems, you say one, if you're kicking open an open door that is already open, that's definitely a fact. It's also in our own best interest, at least from a translation management point of view, that you have your, translation memories, organized. And what I've also seen from my roundtable, people are getting creative there as well. It's also, you can do this within your own company. I've also seen, joint ventures where, for example, one client has outsourced the entire translation management to their 3 preferred vendors, and those 3 preferred vendors, who in some sense are competing with one another, are together responsible for the entire translation memory management of that one client. And then we also have, for those who visit Logworld regularly, the TBA, the Taos Data Association. I think that's a very visionary thing with as many opponents as fans, where companies, clients, and vendors actually joined, let's say, a non-profit setup where they're basically sharing translation memories. So it's sort of based on a win-win situation. You get something in return. So, well, machine translation has been there forever. I know there are a lot of jokes about machine translation because the discussion started over 5 decades ago, and it keeps on going. So there are also a lot of opponents and fans there. Crowdsourcing, social media. Well, I think we're all familiar with the term crowdsourcing. You heard that in basically every conference, localization-related conference, and focus on localization project management. And that's also what Richard earlier indicated. What I personally feel is that I think we're doing ourselves a favor from a translation perspective if we make sure that we have a very good PM team. If you have a PM team that is skilled and has the knowledge, or maybe not yet, but if you can hire talented people who just finished studies and you know that they can reach that level within 1 year, I really think that you're doing yourself a favor. That's from the skill side, and then also, what is also very important, and maybe even more important, is that this person knows how to behave in front of the client. That's also extremely, this cultural behavior. So these are some trends that we see there. That was worldwide. And then for Latin America, it was a little bit difficult to distinguish worldwide from Latin America, because what you guys do here, it's what we do in Europe as well. But I just wanted to add a few things, is that, of course, I want to start with the last thing. You know your backyard best. I cannot go to Sao Paulo tomorrow and tell the customer how things work in Brazil. That's going to be too big of a challenge for me. I think you guys will do a much better job there. So, but definitely what you see now is that translation agencies are filling a gap. It's not like you're just offering a translation and saying, oh, okay, I can do this for you, I can translate this into English and Spanish. That's not the differentiator anymore. You have to be able, basically what they say in sales, like customer-centric selling, it's much better to just a piece of paper and go visit the customer and just leave the presentation on your laptop and just start talking to the customer. You make sure what he wants, make sure what the requirements are, and you can talk for 2 or 3 hours. And the clients really, really going to appreciate that. So become a local advocate for consulting business plan. So that's basically what I'm saying. It's really one of the best key differentiators when you want to, let's say, make a good impression on your prospect. Okay. And then, sorry, I'm getting with the microphone here. So just summarize, increasing competition in all markets. We know that. Guys, you're sitting here and you're competing with one another. It's getting tougher. You have to cut costs. The client has to cut costs. And, you want the business. Decreasing reliance on one model. The way I interpret this is that you have to start, being creative. And I think that's something that we can do that. It's not you're outsourcing everything or you're insourcing everything. Electronic, we have an internal department, but at some point we couldn't cope anymore with that because it was too challenging. We had to add languages and languages, so we went to a hybrid model where you keep your internal translation department, but you start outsourcing some languages, which has advantages and disadvantages. So you really have to look at the requirements of your own company to see what the best model is for you. And then, 2 things that I really like to mention is that specialization of services.